Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jaspreet, and I am today very honored to introduce Dr. Aruna Katoch. She's an Ayurveda doctor. She has extensive knowledge in her field, lots of experience, and healing people with natural remedies, Ayurveda remedies, and that's I think that's the best way to to learn. So let's give her all of her attention for next 35 to 40 minutes. So she'll be talking about the unlocking the gut lifestyle connection. So let's have her come to the platform and give us information about that subject. Thank you everybody for joining us this morning. Thank you. Thank you, Aruna.
Hit the road. So today, as we know that this is a continuation of the webinar, which was last month, I'm sorry. And usually the webinars are on the third Saturday of the month, but this time because of some personal work, I have shifted this to the second Saturday, but the next time it will be on the third Saturday of the month. So in last webinar, what we did, we tried to understand the normal physiology or the normal functioning of the digestive system. And here we'll be talking that how those simple steps, when miss or skip one or the other process in between, then how it leads to the conditions and how we can prevent those incidents and what happens if we don't address the needs at that very time. And is there any symptoms which we can feel that the things are going beyond our control? So that's why in this webinar, we'll be talking more about that how we can navigate the path to prevent those irreversible conditions. And a disclaimer, going next, there's a disclaimer that the whole webinar information is based on the Ayurvedic principle, and here we are not talking to any one individual because Ayurveda believes in personalized, customized advice when it comes to somebody we are talking in person. And again, when we talk about the gut and the lifestyle connection, most of the time nowadays, when you will see the word gut health, there everyone is talking about the microbes. What are the microorganisms which are living inside the intestine and how they are helping us with the digestion and other related activities. But I just want to highlight here again that the survival of those bacteria also depends upon the nutrition, what is flowing through that gut. So as in this video, you can see how water is coming down and it is pouring from one to the other channel. And the other picture, we can visualize how from the organ it goes to tissue and then to the cell. So there are different levels of nourishment when we talk about the inside of that. Similarly, when this fluid is flowing down the channel, it is taking all the things coming across its way. So it could be the nourishment, which has been the resultant of the digestion, and it could be the waste product which comes into the channel due to the indigestion or the incomplete process in that part of that canal, or we can say the system. And in today's presentation, definitely right now we talk about the gut and lifestyle connection, because gut is the channel which is taking the nutrition or the flow down to the from the mouth to the last part. And similarly, this is where every tissue, or you can say the quality of nourishment at every tissue level, is being decided. First, we will start with the review, what we studied, and that would be really fast because we covered that in the last webinar. And then we'll talk again about the factors, the Tridoshik meal. These 2 points are very important for today's lecture also, but the detail was covered in the previous webinar. And then from the fifth point, we start talking about the cause and effect relationship. We'll talk about what is cycle of health. And then we talk about the progressive stages, which leads to the lifestyle diseases or the conditions with examples. And then we talk about the river of health. What is this river of health and how it is important for us? And then after completion of this presentation, we will definitely lead to the question answers, and there, whatever questions you have during the presentation, you can note it down, and I will try my best to answer those questions. So let's start with the review. So we talked that these are the 5 elements which are constituting our body, and every element has some properties. And then we talked how it is important in structure and how in the function. And here I'm talking in respect to the 5 elements we just saw in the last slide. And give an example of one element. So here we can see that how the dominance of one element affects the body shape, where it is dominant, and what it do. Whereas this is the functional aspect of that element, that how dominance of that element affects your eating style, and how it is also that why you face certain common problems usually. And then in the last webinar, we did talk about the analogy of digestion. And here I give you the example that, how this container is representing the stomach here. The outer part is representing the large intestine. The fire inside is representing all the processes going on in the small intestine part, and how the whole digestion can be understood with this example. And then we talked about the factor affecting the gut health. So when we talk about the product, it is the food. And we talked about this, that how in the digestion, food, the type of food you are taking is important, but digestive fire, the ability of the digestive fire in your body is so important, that whatever kind of a food you are taking, these two are the most important factor. And definitely there are so many things which is happening at different level. And in this part, we want to emphasize the accessory organs, which are not the part of the whole canal, but these are the accessory parts which are pouring their secretions in the canal to help the process of digestion. And then we talk about the desire, because nowadays it's been seen sometimes our body is hungry, but most of the time our mind is hungry and we want to eat this or this, because as a kid, you might be having a hunger for a candy or a chocolate, or you might not be having a hunger for the food. But these things are now very much seen in the adults. They are no more the part of childhood memories, but these things are also so important, which is affecting the digestion. And we'll talk about this when we'll talk about the examples. In last webinar, we did talk about that how the quantity and the quality of the food is important. But in this, I want to emphasize on the combination. Sometimes we are taking the food, but the combinations which we combined in that particular meal is not a very good combination. And in respect to the examples of the condition, we'll talk in the progressive stage of a condition. I'll talk about this more. And this is a simple flow chart that how our health is dependent upon that. Are we having a good quantity and quality of food, or is our digestive fire strength is supporting our health in a good way, or it's influencing us to be leading towards the diseases? And then, yes, we did discuss about the digestion, that there are four main parts. Ingestion, where we are chewing, mechanical in the stomach, when it is all churning down and converting into a substance known as chyle. And then at the small intestine, first level part, how the secretions from liver, gallbladder, and pancreas coming down to escalate the whole process of digestion, and how it then be forwarded to the other part of small intestine where it is being absorbed. And then we talk about that whenever we have optimal digestion in our body, so what are the features of that? You feel satisfied, your hunger is being satisfied, you don't feel any bloating, heaviness, or your bowel habits are regular, energy levels are maintained throughout the day, and your body weight is as per your body constitution. You don't come across the brain fog. That means it leads to the stable emotional state and the clear mind. And this also state that if your digestion is not good, it can lead to the imbalance in the emotion, and it do affects your decision making. And good sleep, definitely. The people who dream at the night, they have direct relation with the digestion, that might be digestion needs some boost there. And yes, we did talk about the Tridoshik meal last time also. And here I want to emphasize that there are so many principles of eating. But why did I choose this principle to emphasize here? Because you might have seen a healthy plate, because in US, that's always been given under my plate tablet, where they talk about that this much percentage should be carbohydrate, protein, fats, dairy products, and all the other necessities. But sometimes it is so difficult to calculate the things on your meal. So is there any simplest way to do that? Yes, it is. Then in this principle, they have simply divided the food into two sections, the solids and the liquids. And they say when you are eating, this is always recommended that if you divide your whole stomach into three parts, so one part should be filled with the solid, the other part should be filled with the liquid, and the last part should always be left empty. So this is always advisable to have a little hunger left when you complete your meal, or you should have your meal according to your hunger, but a little less, so that it should help in the digestion. And we'll talk about this more. In last session, there was a question, and that question was in regards to the slide where they asked that, can we take juice along with the meal? So I just want to emphasize, definitely any kind of a liquid which you are taking along with your meal will go into the section of liquid when we talk in this terminology. But at the same time, we need to consider the strength of our digestive fire. And to simplify that, how much hungry we are at that part of the day. Like, is it a breakfast, it is a lunch, or it is a dinner? And what is the level of your appetite? How much hungry you are? Because fruits, especially the juice, is considered to be the concentrate form of raw juice. Because if you are eating apple, you might eat one apple or two apple in the solid format, but when it comes down to juice, the 4 to 5 apple will gonna make 100 or 120 ml of apple juice, which is easy to take. So we need to think from that perspective also, that if you are adding a liquid to your meal, what is the processing time for that fluid? On the contrary, if you're talking about the soups in your meal, so soup is a cooked format from the vegetable. Here, I just want to emphasize that the process of making juice and soup is different. Juices are the concentrate and the extracts of the fruit or a juice where the fiber has been removed and the juice has been taken, whereas the process of making soup is totally different. And if you can recall, the black pepper and the other herbs which is used in soup, they all help in or as appetizer for that, and it promotes, it helps the digestion. So I just want to clarify that it is good that we are doing the partition as solid liquid in terms of simplifying our meal, but we do need to consider that whatever we are having in our food, is that meal is good for that part of the day or not. If you have any questions still left, we can answer at the end. And yes, if digestion is not on its normal flowchart, on its pathway, what happens when the metabolic efficiency is compromised? It leads to undigested metabolic waste. And in simple, undigested food is there in the form of waste. Why we are saying it waste? Like we are making a juice. So the main crust comes to the glass, and the fiber, the things which are not able to crush down to juice, that has been separated as the waste of that in the body also. When the food is absorbed and assimilated in the tissue, that is considered to be the nutritive juice, whereas which doesn't go through that or doesn't go through that filter, so that is left as a waste. And we say that to be the metabolic waste or undigested food particle. And when this waste is not removed from the body by the bodily mechanism, they turn into the toxins, and they further lead to the various conditions we'll be talking in detail today. We discussed these are the diseases which are only because of the unhealthy lifestyle choices. And let's go to the main thing. So we are talking about the cause and effect here. So our whole alimentary canal, our whole digestive channel is like a tube. That's why here I have made this diagram of a tube, that right from the mouth till the anal opening, it's a plain tube, it's a pipeline, and there are certain accessory organs which we talked in one of the slides, that the accessory organ which pour down their secretions into this tube. And this tube is 30 feet or 9 meter long. This is not the small one, like, which you can just come and see. And usually, if something is wrong, an investigation has been advised to you, what would that investigation be? Either they'll do endoscopy, they put some pipe and they can see up to the level of stomach here. If they are going through the down route, they'll do the colonoscopy, which they go up to this level. Or they'll do certain kind of a barium meal. But the physiological disorders cannot be seen in this investigation. So what is the thing which we can understand that, no, something is wrong, we need to take care, we need to look for more signs? So what is that? So that is the stool. We take food, and as an outcome, which comes out of the body is stool. I know it's ugly, it's yucky, but this is the ugly truth. Your stool is talking about the process which is going on in that 30 feet long intestine. And we cannot ignore that thing, because this is the first sign given by our body that we need to be really careful about. And because of its presence, nobody wants to talk about this. And let's talk about what is termed as healthy stool, because if you go on the various definitions of bowel movement, whether it is constipation, loose motion, there are so many variations. But the points we are talking about, if your stool looks parallel to these parameters, that means your digestion is optimal. It doesn't need any kind of a help. So the color discussed is usually golden brown or medium brown, but it should not be neither pale or a dark. So any kind of a discoloration in stool is the point which needs a check. Consistency has to be soft like banana, and it comes in shape also, like either sausage or a banana. Odor should not be really foul, because more the foul smell, it shows the presence of toxins in the stool. Other criteria is the quantity, and usually 2 to 3 times in a day is okay. But evacuation at one time is always considered better. There should not be the presence of mucus and blood in the stool. It should be easy to eliminate, which means you don't need any substitute for the easy elimination. No coffee, no tea, nothing, and you are not straining. There is no discomfort in passing. And definitely the regularity. In some people, it is on a regular basis, and on some, there is a certain kind of a pattern. If the pattern you had since childhood and you're maintaining that same pattern, so that is again considered as normal. But this is the most important part of digestion, because we don't have any of the diagnostic yet where we can see the different levels. What we can see if we go to some of the tests, which is based on the magnetic field of the body, and they're only about what kind of a movement is going on in the intestine at the level of stomach, small intestine, long intestines, and what is the percentage of assimilation, means getting absorbed at that level. But there is no investigation yet which can define that what actually is going on. It is only and only the stool which is talking about the story of your alimentary canal. That's why I highlighted this. And let's talk about the cycle of health. What is the cycle of health? So, when we talk about this, there are three stages: accumulation, vitiation, balance, and then this cycle keeps on going. And we'll talk about this in further stages again. And why this accumulation is there? So this is because of seasons. Every season has its seasonal fruits. And if that particular fruit or a veggie or other cereal is growing in that particular season, that means the dominance of the element of that season will also be dominated in that particular food article. Means if in summer or rainy days, if the fire element is more, then you will see that the food articles like fruit, vegetable, which has more of the dominance of fire element, are the seasonal food of that season. And if we take an example of chilies or jalapenos, they are not that spicy all over the year. There are certain seasons when every jalapeno or green chili will be spicy. That is because the environmental factors are the nourishment part of that food article when it is growing up. So even if you are focusing on organic food, seasonal fruit, even eating those things will take you to the cycle of accumulation, because the season is dominant of certain elements, that food is dominant of that elements, and that's how your body starts having the accumulation of that. And other than these two, the most important is if that element is dominant in your body, so it has a smaller threshold than the people who don't have that element as dominant. And what happens when certain thing is too much accumulated? It will go out, it will burst out. And how your body identifies the vitiation, it starts demanding for the opposite thing. For example, if heat is too much in your body because of this accumulation stage, you are cautious about your body, you listen to your body, so your body will demand something opposite. You feel like having something which is cooler in its temperament, like coconut water, like adding on certain food articles into your diet, which will help you balance. And if you're listening, your body will automatically come to the stage of balance where the neutralization of whole thing happen and your body maintain its healthy mechanism. So seasons are prominent in this whole cycle. What happens when we are not taking care at the stage of vitiation? We are not listening to our body because we are either reading emails or we are watching TV or we are so busy outside that we don't know what we are having, and we're not talking to our body because we are so busy. Then what happens? It leads to the various stages. And these are the stages we'll talk more with examples. And up to certain level, we can reverse the pathway. So let's see in detail what is this. So first, again, will be the accumulation stage. And we talk that this is a stage when your body is storing everything in your body and you're just putting. So we did talk that even because of the season or your inclination towards specific food articles, you are accumulating the things in your body. And then what happens? So here I have taken an example of a boiling milk, that it is so filled that it now has reached to the rim of the bodily cycle. We are just trying to understand with the analogy and what happens in aggravation stage when the body reach at this point, the very significant language body tells you that it starts demanding for something which you usually don't take. And with a simple thing, like if you having a lot of sweets, so then you will start saying, oh, let's have some little salt or a snack which is salty, so that, my tongue is having a different flavor after having so much sweet, even though you like sweets. But you reach to a point where you need some salt to get a little better with the taste of your mouth. But we didn't listen. Now we ate too much snacks, and now our body is demanding sweet again because we had too much of a salt. And then we had so much of a salt, we need sweets. Now we have so much sweet, we need a salt. And we fell into this vicious cycle because we are not listening. We are so consumed with the media or a reading or anything where you are not focused what you are eating, or we can say like we are on opposite side of mindful eating. Then what happens? Oh wow, now it's coming out because every container has a certain kind of a limit. So now it started pouring out, and this is known as the spread stage. Still, the things are under control if we are a little cautious, but now you need a help of changing your lifestyle or changing some kind of action in your day-to-day life to bring this back. Where till the stage of aggravation or vitiation, the condition was under your control. At spread stage, you need somebody to help you. And now this has been spread. What would be there? It will come into the channel and it will start depositing on one or the other organ or a system of your body. And then what will happen? Now, if you see the difference between these two slides here, still it is a stream, it's flowing. But in the manifestation stage, now the density is being increased. The flow is slower, it's viscous, because now the things has been started depositing at one part. So manifestation is a stage when the blood work start showing some kind of a red flags. Now there you can see the changes. Before this, till this stage, the fourth stage, you usually do not find anything in your pathological report. Maybe your body is uneasy, maybe your body is showing the various symptoms, but the pathological reports may or may not be showing any kind of a difference. But in manifestation stage, definitely now the disease is formed, and you can see a diagnosis on your prescription when you visit a doctor and see significant changes in your pathological report. And this is the last stage, the complication. We'll talk about this in detail. Now let's take an example. So this is a very common example that how a simple acid reflux can lead to ulcer. But this is because the digestive system is not working properly, because you are not taking care of your lifestyle. So let's see the first stage, the accumulation stage. You are taking a lot of food article, which is with the dominance of fire element. Your eating habits are not regular. Sometimes you are eating too much food, and there are long distance between the two meal times, and definitely stress. Stress again is a cumulative factor. It is a combination of a lot of emotions. And you might can correlate with this, that whenever somebody is behaving unreasonably, it can be your friend, your kid, your spouse, the first reaction is, are you hungry? Do you want something to eat? So this shows like how the emotions and different emotional states affect your appetite and digestion, right? And all these are the factors of accumulation. And what happens after accumulation? Aggravation. The things start coming to the rim of that system, and that comes as an acid reflex. You feel a heartburn, you feel a discomfort in the upper part of your abdomen, the upper part of your tummy. So this is aggravation state, and this is the first sign when your body says something is not right, and you just ignored this, or you were so busy in the things that you were not able to hear the body, then this will flow out of the container. It will spread. And when we talk about the stomach secretion, one of the dominant secretion in the stomach is HCl. Yes, it is the same toxic fluid which is we used with so much caution when if that is in our house, that is in our body. If you're not taking care of your stomach and your appetite and your small acidity problem, it spreads. And what it leads to inflammation and then irritation of the inner lining of that organ inside. And in case of acidity, this is definitely the stomach lining. And when it starts localizing, now there is an intense pain, there is burning sensation, there will be bloating. And in few people, this is seen that the bleeding is also there, either through mouth or even in the stool, they can see the bleeding. But whenever they'll eat, there is a pain or burning sensation. When it leads to the manifestation, now, as we talked in the journal description of manifestation stage, now the disease has been formed. Now this ulcer has been formed. The wound has been formed inside, right? So here I just want to show the difference in the coloration. And I'm not talking about any kind of anatomy, but how the simple looking inside of your gut will become some kind of ulcer inside, so that they look like this. And then the last stage is complication stage. Even after that, somehow it's been untreated, it's not been taken care of. So these ulcer either can lead to perforation, where it makes a hole in the whole gut line, and it may be a big obstruction on the ways, and that can be a really serious condition. So this is how the different stages, right from the acid reflux till making the ulcer. And definitely this is a lifestyle disorder. This is not a big thing which you cannot reverse. Till this stage where the localization has not turned into the manifestation up to this level, definitely there are high probabilities of reversing this condition back to the normal stage. Maybe not 100%, but definitely there is chances of improvement here. The second condition I wanted to talk here is the cardiac condition, because nowadays the cardiac conditions are one among the higher peaks. So I wanted to talk about this also. So in accumulation, what are the things which are behind the scene? Unhealthy diet, sedentary lifestyle, stress is everywhere. Maybe there is a genetic predisposition. Maybe there are certain things, conditions. This is for those conditions which are seen hereditary. So that's how like things are being accumulated. And in factors, I talked about the combination. And here the combination of cheese with soda is one of the unhealthy combination which can aggravate to these conditions. Having fruit mixed with yogurt is one among the unhealthy combinations. So after accumulation, definitely there is an aggravation. So they were settling down in the blood vessels. Now they will feel like increased metabolic activity. Maybe there is a spike in the hunger. They might feel palpitation. There will be difference in their blood pressure levels, or their heart rate is being different from what they have on a regular basis. So these are the symptoms where you should take a first check that we need to do something about this, and we need to take care of this thing, either in our lifestyle or our diet. And then comes the third stage. Now person is feeling some kind of a chest pain, their breath is, there is shortness in breath, even with a small distance, with 4 to 5 stairs, they feel like shortness of breath. They are not able to do exercise for more than 3 to 4 minutes. This is a high time that some particular condition is being now taking place inside and trying to make its position. And this is a high time one should go to see a healthcare professional. So we ignored this thing. Now they are being deposited, and now you can see arrhythmia, where there is an irregular heartbeat, there is a chest pain, the pain is diverting towards the arm. So now the disease has taken certain shape. This condition now, in this context, it needs a lot of effort to reverse it down to normal. When it comes to the manifestation, this is a time when doctor will say that the arteries are being blocked, you need a surgical procedure, and that's how this thing will be resolved. And things are happening, they're happening so fast that you cannot track them. So they leads to a complication stage. And what is that? It can lead to heart attack, stroke, or heart failure. These are the last stages. But from where they started with unhealthy dietary or lifestyle habits. So when we talk about this condition, in the localization journal description, we saw that it started flowing down to the stream, and then it becomes dense. And then what happened, that only the center part of the stream is moving, whereas the outer layer or the side part of that stream is getting thicker because they are being pushed. There is less space and more material, or even the regular flow is coming down, but there is no space because the waste part, the things which are moving, they are now started sticking to a wall. And now you can see the outer part is getting thick, and the central lumen, the in-between space, is getting small. And this is a stage when they say, 80 to 90% of the artery is blocked. And what happened on the other side, because of this deposition, the outer wall is not getting any kind of a nourishment. And when this is not getting any nourishment, so it loses its flexibility, and even a little of more pressure can break this wall, which leads to the condition known as stroke. Let's come to the last example, which is diabetes, that how this progression of diabetes take place. And just the World Health Day passed, and the disease which was highly talked about was diabetes, because this is one which is increasing like mushrooms all over the world. So how it starts? Sedentary lifestyle is the most important factor. The people do not exercise, their lifestyle is poor, they eat whatever comes, they don't want to move. And there is, in certain cases, there is a hereditary factor involved. But what happens, the second stage, which is really vital to reverse it, is their digestion becomes weak. They come across bloating, they come across constipation, they come across so many things, but they don't take care of that. They keep on having whatever they like, and still body doesn't want to have food. Like they started having because in second stage, body do its defense mechanism. They start unliking food, because but these are the people who are always in a carefree zone. They think like, we oh, doesn't matter, like, oh, let it go. Those people, right? They are having nausea. It's okay. I had a nausea, but I can take it maybe after tomorrow, right? So body is giving you signs that, something is wrong. Please listen to me. But these people don't listen. And when it's spread to the system, it leads to a condition where they lost their appetite. Their body is fatigued. Their body don't want to do anything. They just want to rest. But they say maybe like, I had like certain work because of my professional life, because of the other things, maybe I'm feeling these symptoms, and they still don't take care that my digestion is not good and I need to take care. I need to talk to some health professional, or I need to do some, follow some do's and don'ts in my diet. Now the localization stage happen. So in Ayurveda, they talk about the 6 symptoms which are before it comes down positively in your blood or urine report. So these are increased thirst. The frequency of urination is more. That person is always fatigued. Sometimes they are hungry, sometimes they are not. In few of the cases, there is excessive sweat. And there is difference in the body odor. And sometimes, most of the time, when they're standing for a little long, they need some kind of a support. And they always feel like sitting or lying down. And one of the specific feature here is before the manifestation, that their hairs become sticky. When they move their fingers in the hand, they found a lot of entanglement. So if your hairs are not generally dry, and still you are feeling that entangles are more, this is one of the pre-deposit symptoms of having more of the sugar level in your body. And when it manifests in the body, the first difference is the turbid urine, or there is a change in the urine color. And obviously, these symptoms carry on. Now you can see in your blood report, you can see in the urine report, because now it is a big condition. But again, this condition in the prior stages can be controlled with a good lifestyle and adding up the exercises. 40 minutes of a walk on a regular basis can help you prevent this condition. Having certain food articles in your food can help you preventing this condition. But you need to listen to your body. You need to be aware of your body. And now we are not listening to anything. Body is just doing its work. We are so busy in our life and our profession. Now the body is in a different phase. Now it is showing a lot of complications. One among the complication is you feel a pricking sensation in your sole area of the foot. And one of the significant symptoms, I would say, is seen in most of the people, that if you draw a line from the base of the toe and from the first finger of this, and you make a V, there is a point. If that point is tender, if that is painful on touching, this shows that you need to check the sugar levels of your body. And once the condition has been settled inside your body, so these are the conditions. They affect the brain, eyes, heart, kidneys, and your intestine. So these are the conditions. Okay, so let's talk about the river of health. This is so important. And here you see again, I try to show you that how the stream is flowing down the liquid. When the rivers start from the mountain, that is the time where the water inside is really pure, or it is maintaining its optimal functioning. And this is the health goal for everyone to have that optimal level. And then started the micro changes where the small waste products started coming to the channel. The small sides of the river is started coming down to the flow. And these are the micro changes which are occurring at the level of 1, 2, and 3. And then comes the other stage. Now you can see a big lump of mud in the flow of water. You can see the leaves. Now things are visible. At micro level, you might not be able to see the things, but at macro level, you can see, you can feel the body. And the last stage is macro, when disease is formed. So when we are trying to achieve the optimal health, these are the stages which we come down during the formation of these conditions, and rewarding them back, going back towards your health goal where your body is performing at the optimal level is everyone's target. So the flow or the progression of disease is more of a steps going upward where you are moving towards the disease. And when we talk about the flow, the condition of the body is going down. So that's how, and that's how I help the people who come across me, to help them that in this river of health, where your condition is and what we need to do, how we need to improve our diet and lifestyle, what are the things which you can check right now to reward or reverse this condition, or do we need to take certain condition if we are on a border of a condition where we cannot reverse that, how to control, how to let them stop there and not progress forward. So this is really important to understand that how the things changes in your body in different pattern. Nothing happens overnight, neither the success nor the diseases. So we need to be careful. We need to be mindful that what is happening to us. It is so important to give yourself 3 to 4 minutes in a day to interact with the body, to understand what's going on in your body so that you can catch the things beforehand. And if you want to avoid going down because you are somewhere here, Ayurveda talks about the proactive steps according to the season. Because if we are having the most efficient healthy food on the earth, that will be according to the season. So if we are trying to follow the diet and the rules which is said according to that season, we can maintain the health in this era also. So here I just want to highlight in terms of season that how the disease progress. Winter is a time when everything goes towards inside. Even our digestive fire also moves inside. That is the reason you feel more hungry in winters. This is considered as the best time of the body to take the healthy supplements or nutrition or something which can rejuvenate your body, because the heat is inside. It is not functioning much in a way because the outer temperature is cold. So by default, it is more inside. So when we are taking things in that time, this is a time when you need to build your body, to rejuvenate your body. And then comes the spring. Whatever you stored, now that is visible. So it depends. Did you store fat in your tummy, which you're scared of wearing your summer clothes? Did you supported the disease during the winter, or did you supported your health? Whatever you have supported in this phase of winter, it is going to sprout in spring, because this is what spring is all about. Whatever is being flourished in spring has to go through summer. This is the time when you need to protect your body from outside, because the outer conditions are very adverse. Sometimes it's so high. The temperature is like 120 degree, 110 Fahrenheit. So you need to protect. And this is a time when we can work a little more towards the disease. And by the fall, we can get it off if we are in the first three stages. So like fall, things are easy to shed if we are doing certain detoxification procedures and we are trying to get rid of the toxins or the undigested metabolic waste in the body. This is the right time. And that's how you can prepare your body by cleaning, and your body is ready for the winter to get the best nutrition at this time. So even if we are following the season, we are following the protocol, we are following the proactive steps, we can take care of our body in a better manner, so that the flow should remain pure and the tissues and the cells around should be nourished with the nutrition. And as I talked last time also, fortunately, these lifestyle syndromes are largely preventable and reversible up to stage 3. But you need to break down the steps to attain your health goal by taking positive lifestyle changes. So this is the end of this webinar, and the next webinar will be on 15th of July, the third Saturday at 11 a.m. And in that webinar, I want to talk that how eating right, just knowing how, when, and what to eat can make a significant change in your health. Because eating is something which we need to take a control of. If you're not taking a control of your eating, then all the stages are waiting down for you to get control of you. And with this, I want to announce one thing, that today is the 4th webinar, and as a gratitude, I'm offering this 30-minute consultation on Fridays as my community gratitude to everyone. And there is a link, you can come and you can have an assessment where we can see that where on the river of health we are, and from there, what kind of steps we can take. I did on this webinar first before going it on my social platform. So this is a gratitude from me to everyone who is attending this. And with this, I wish that your channels will always remain pure and maintain the nourishment in your body to have you all at your optimal level of health. And with this, I would like to say thank you, everyone, for your time. And let's open for a question answer session. Thank you, everyone.
I would like to say thank you, Dr. Katoch, and it was very informative, very powerful information. And like you said, that we have to control what we eat, right? Otherwise, we'll have all those problems that you mentioned. And, it's just like it's good to learn, because sometimes we just kind of like don't focus what we eat. And so diet and healthy lifestyle can make us like us, how we live our life, right? So yeah, I think now we can, if we have any question answers, we can do that. And thank you again for all your time that you're putting in to inform us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So you can unmute yourselves to ask the question. And if we don't have any question, then we can conclude the session. And apologize, I took a little longer to complete this, but I wanted to emphasize that how every stage gives us the indication that please look at me, I need attention, I need your help. And every time the body is asking for help, we need to listen and we need to respond. And if you're not doing that, then at the end of the day, we are the one who is going to have the sufferings of our deeds, which we did. So I suppose there are no questions. So we are good. Okay, and we'll share the recording very soon. And even then, if you have a question, you have my email address. Please ask whatever the question you have. And with this, thank you everyone for your time. I really appreciate that. Thank you.